Why, good morning from my parking garage. I don't actually own the parking garage. I'm sure you could have guessed that. As any of you that have been watching my channel for a while know, I just recently moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a new job opportunity. So I've already made 2 or 3 visits to my new home park, Six Flags Great America, which is located only about 45 minutes south of me. But today I am actually excited, for completely different reasons, to visit my other new home park, Little Amerricka. Yes, it's spelled that way. I think it's the owner's last name or something. It's like an Air Force One situation before that was cool. As I said, Six Flags Great America is my true home park, being about 45 minutes south of me. That is the closest park to me. This is about an hour to the west of me, so pretty similar, 45 minutes, an hour. So this is a little bit farther, but I still consider it one of my 2 home parks. And I actually think it's pretty cool to have these 2 as my home park because they are such different experiences. Of course, Six Flags Great America is one of the largest corporate regional theme parks in the entire country, boasting an enormous collection of mostly modern thrill rides, whereas Little Amerricka is a tiny little family-owned place that mostly has like ancient rides that they're keeping alive just for fun. One of the things I really love about being a coaster enthusiast and being into kind of this hobby is just that there is such a huge variety of different types of experiences out there in the theme park, amusement park, and roller coaster world. And I've really come to appreciate all the different kinds of experiences in their own unique ways. It varies very much person to person, but this very small, tiny family-owned parks that really seem to be a dying breed, but the ones that are holding on to life, places like Beach Bend, Lake Winnie, Little Amerricka, and of course everyone's favorite, Knoebels. That's definitely on my list as well. These small family-owned parks that mostly operate older flat rides, more classic style. I really enjoy those in their own unique way, because to me, it's really a window kind of into the past, but kind of into the culture of the classic American amusement park, which is something that is mostly dead when you go to like a regional theme park like a Six Flags park. Those parks are fantastic, obviously, but they don't have the spirit, the core of the classic American theme park anymore. Regardless, I've been blabbing too long. Let's go to Little Amerricka. All right, so silly me did not check on the weather before leaving today. It was pretty nice when I left, but then about a quarter of the way through the drive, it started raining, and it hasn't stopped. So it's just like a drizzle, like just kind of dreary, drizzly. I looked at the radar. It looks like it might stop in a minute, maybe. We'll see. Regardless, welcome to Marshall, Wisconsin, which is a kind of small town about, it's pretty close to Madison, which is the state capital. Again, it took me about 52 minutes actually to get here today, so not much traffic at all. Waiting just a second here to see if the rain will kind of stop, but you can see their big, I believe that's their biggest roller coaster there, which is a small family wooden coaster. I think it's very similar, if not the same, as Little Dipper at Great America. There's this like monorail thing that I didn't know that they had. I was pulled up, I was like, what is that? It's like a monorail type ride, like you used to see in a lot of kiddie areas at regional theme parks, but they seem to be a dying breed for some reason. There goes somebody right now. Over there is their Chance Toboggan, the last one in the United States, I believe. And right next to it, there's a giant bouncy house for some reason. All right, it seems to be about done raining. It looks like it could kind of rain throughout the day. Very overcast today, but you know, it is what it is. The park just opened a few minutes ago. We'll get about 5 hours here today because they are open from 12 to 5 pretty much every day for the entire season, which is kind of your typical short season, you know, like end of May to beginning of September kind of deal, as you'd expect with a small park like this. But yeah, even for a park like this, pretty short hours being 12 to 5 every day. But there's not a whole ton to do here. It's a very, very small park, so hopefully that won't be a big deal. Park's not completely empty, as you can see, but I think the dreary weather definitely did keep a lot of people away, because only like the first 2 rows of their parking lot here are filled. Not sure why, but I've always found, you know, dirt and grass parking lots like this at these small family-owned parks always be a little bit charming. But yeah, the town of Marshall, Wisconsin, very small town, kind of right on the other side of the trees there. Drove through part of it to get here. Otherwise, we're kind of all surrounded by farmland and then this tiny little park here. Already, this park looks quite different than I expected it to. I'm not sure how to exactly describe it. Not a good or a bad thing. Just a lot of times, you know, when you visit the park for the first time, especially when you haven't seen that much about it online, just visually you look around, you're like, yeah, a little different than I expected. All right, I just entered. Right when you come in, you can grab your ride passes there. They're very well staffed, which is nice. And then you can see across the railroad track, we're into the actual park. It's very cute. I like it a lot. I always like to, at a park like this, kind of walk around and get a feel for it first, so that's what I'm going to do. But I got the gold wristbands, which they have different colored wristbands based on your height, which I thought is really neat. I haven't really seen that at other parks. I will make a point that admission here is free. They do not charge admission. Anybody can just walk on into the park, but then you can either pay per ride or you can get an unlimited ride wristband. But like I said, here there's different colors that represent your heights. So you basically, if you have younger kids, you only pay for the attractions they're actually able to experience, which is a cool concept. I haven't really seen that at any other parks. Then at the highest height, you get to choose between, I think it's blue and gold. I think it's about a $5 difference, if I remember. The gold includes mini golf and the go-karts. I'm not really interested in doing the mini golf by myself, but I thought I might want to do the go-karts once. If you pay per ride, go-karts are $6, so even if I do the go-karts once, it's a little cheaper to get the gold pass. But you can also get the blue one, a little cheaper, and does not include the go-karts or mini golf. Yeah, this place is certainly a vibe, that's for sure. I'm liking it a lot so far. Dude, they have Mario on their tilt-a-whirl. Is that legal? Can we do that? Very back of the park here is empty. I think it just goes kind of to their go-karts and stuff. Yeah, the path kind of skinnies up, and then it's just, I think just the go-karts. Oh, and the bumper boats back here. I forgot they have bumper boats. I've heard really good things about their train ride. You can see it kind of loops around the park, which is probably the smallest park I've ever stood in. But the train ride is apparently like 3 or 4 miles long. I've heard really good things about it, so I'm interested to try that out. So what's super interesting about this park to me is you'd expect a park like this to have like a really long history. But no, apparently this place opened in the 90s. Just kind of a guy or a family or whatever just kind of wanted to have a haven, if you will, for classic retro amusement park stuff. And here we are. So this park is actually only like 30 years old. Actually, going to start with not a coaster here. We're going to start with their monorail to kind of give you all a view around the park. Very skinny stairs that go up to the monorail platform. All right, that was a pretty good monorail. It was a little bit bumpy, but it was much longer than I expected it to be. I think that's the longest of that kind of like monorail ride I've ever done. It really goes around the entire park property. Pretty cool. But yeah, I gotta find the entrance to their classic little family Woody now. It used to be right here. Look at the third lap. That's awesome. All right, just did Meteor, their family wind coaster. I am pretty sure it's a mirrored layout of Little Dipper over at Great America, which itself is a historic ride. Of course, Great America's Little Dipper opened at another park. I don't remember where, but it opened somewhere else in Illinois a very long time ago, before then being bought by Six Flags at an auction. It moved to Great America, and this is a mirrored layout of that. So I just checked to confirm my suspicions. This one also opened up originally at a park in Illinois. Opened up in the 1950s and then was relocated a couple times before eventually finding its final home for now here at Little Amerricka. And for a ride from the 1950s, that thing runs buttered glass smooth. I think it's even smoother than Little Dipper at Great America. It's smoother than most modern wooden coasters I ride. A lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, it's pretty small, moving pretty slow, so it's not putting a lot of stress on the track. Regardless, it does seem like Little Amerricka does a pretty good job maintaining this, 70, 80-year-old ride. Pretty cool. Also, they let you go around twice, which is nice, because at Great America, you only get one lap. It makes sense why they only do one lap there, because obviously Great America is a very, very crowded theme park that they need to keep the line moving. But here, it's just a little park in the middle of nowhere, so they can let you go around twice. I've actually seen them let some people go around 3 times. Trying to figure out where the entrance to the train is here. Okay, yeah, here we are. Got a nice painted sign. Forgot about that. Yeah, it's got departure times for the train, so the next one's in 3 minutes. Better hop aboard. It's funny, it's like a little replica of an actual locomotive, 2 actual locomotives. Better hurry up and board, I guess. This one's Milwaukee Railroad. I better get in on this car. It's a big train, as you can see, very long, holds a whole lot of people, but it's a very narrow gauge. Like maybe 2 people fit across here, barely. This will be fun. I'm not going to record this whole ride because I've heard it's very long, and I'm not sure exactly how long it is, and I don't want to just be indefinitely holding my phone up. That'll start to hurt my arm, and then maybe I'll come back and get a whole full POV later. We'll see. Regardless, it's 1:09. Departure board said 1:10. And they just rang the bell a bit, so hopefully we'll be getting out of here pretty soon. But yeah, apparently, so the park's pretty small. The monorail goes around the whole park, but apparently this train goes way out, 3 miles away from the park or something absurd like that. I tried to look at it like a GPS map, and it looks like the track just keeps going. So here we go. Let's see how long this is. Got a really nice cover station here. You can see lots of bench seating, and then look at this. I forgot to get this when we were going by. There's actually waiting room, which is pretty cool. Yeah, you can go in there, sit down and wait, and here we are, heading on. By the park entrance. There's the mini golf course there. It's kind of a train theme, I guess. It's got some train props around, so that's kind of neat. Right now, passing the bumper boats and the go-karts in the very outskirts of the main park. I think that's a private party building you can rent out. And we are leaving the actual park boundaries and going to God knows where. Here we go. You have double tracking in some portions, so that's cool, I guess. I'm not really sure why it's double track. Regardless, off we go to somewhere. Alright, so we're going to Whistle Stop Campground now. Okay, it's an RV campground. Neat. There's actually a walking path connecting the campground to the park, so I assume that the park owns this little RV campground over here, so that's pretty neat. Alright, it would appear that we're making a stop to drop off and pick up passengers at the campground. and switching out locomotives. Continuing on. We're just straight up in the forest now. I don't know where we're going. Oh, refueling. Yeah, it definitely seems to be the most popular attraction in the park, and for really good reason. That was absolutely incredible. That is definitely a must-experience attraction at this park if you happen to visit. It was about 40 minutes. The train departed at 1:10, got back at 1:50. So very long, but it did include stop at the campground to pick up guests, then a stop at the locomotive shop to switch out locomotives, and then a stop at the fuel station to put some more diesel in it. The actual ride time was shorter than 40 minutes, but still, that is the longest train ride I've ever experienced at an amusement park. It's even longer than the Dollywood one. Definitely hands down the best train ride I've done outside of Dollywood. I'm not sure if it's better than Dollywood's. They're both good for different reasons, but yeah, that was awesome. That is a crazy long train. Holds a lot of people. It needs to though, because it's not even that crowded today and look how busy the train is. Went over to the campground first, and then it went like through like a little farm that had some animals like zebras for some reason. That was pretty. Went through the literal woods, through like a farm field, then past this like decrepit western town facade. That part was a little bit weird, but yeah, there's just so much. Take you through like all of the biomes of Wisconsin. All right, just for fun, let's get some for lunch, try out their food, see how it is. You have this one restaurant at the front of the park here with ice cream concessions and an arcade. What's it? Oh, that's just a little indoor seating area. Looks like that's your meals, and that's your ice cream and sweets. And a train going around the ceiling. Oh, it's so cool. It's interesting what they've done in here. I kind of expected it to be just empty. But yeah, there's some nice, I guess those are fake plants in the ceiling, but it's something. You get the model train going around the perimeter. There's some cool kind of decorations on the wall. So it's simple, but it's more than I expected. Fortunately, it doesn't really seem to be air conditioned in here. So it is what it is though. Just got a hot dog to try something. Oh, and a Pepsi, because their website says you should get a Pepsi to beat the heat. A Pepsi and cotton candy to beat the heat. I have no idea how you beat the heat with cotton candy unless they have magic cotton candy here. Maybe I'll try it later and see. All right, hot dog is a hot dog. It certainly is just your standard concession stand hot dog. Not the best hot dog I've ever had, but it's significantly more fresh than I typically expect somewhere like this. So it's good, thumbs up. I'm just gonna walk around the park a little more while I'm finishing up this this Pepsi to beat the heat, as the website says. Enough of that, I'll grab the rest of the credit. This park actually has 4 coasters. Kind of crazy for a park this tiny. You got this family wood here, this old Alan Herschel Wild Mouse over here. That's pretty unique. Yeah, and we come over to by the main road. Coaster 3 over here in their little tiny kids area is a tiny kitty coaster. I don't actually know the make on this one. I'll look it up later. I better hurry up. That sky is not looking great. But over here is probably the attraction. That's the reason that most coaster enthusiasts stop by this park. Their Chance Toboggan, and not because it's any good. Actually, quite the opposite, because it has a reputation for being just one of the stupidest, worst things ever. And this is the last one in North America, so people stop by here just to check it out. And this is kind of odd. Here, the park just kind of opens up to the main road with no like gate or anything. I don't know what that's all about. So we got like an entrance sign here with clearance, and it tells you the parking lot is over there, obviously. But yeah, I guess that's for like deliveries. I don't know, just a little weird. So the town of Marshall is right over there, but all that's really in there is like 2 gas stations, a Subway, and just a couple local shops. And other than that, you can see how in the middle of nowhere we are right now. We're still about 30 minutes outside of Madison, which isn't even a huge city. So yeah, we're really out here. As you noticed, I won't be filming on any of the coasters or more thrilling rides here today. This strikes me as a park that probably would not care if you took your phone out and started filming on a ride, but I just don't want to lose it. I don't trust my own grip, so. All right, let's get this stupid hunk of junk over with. Got the ibuprofen ready to go for as soon as I'm done with this. Oh, first is that restraint. Well, that was one of the things I've done. It's not as rough as it looks. It's not that rough. I think people are being a little bit dramatic, just a little bit. It's a stupid ride. You go up like the vertical lift in that shaft. You come out and you just kind of do these helices going down, kind of building speed, but you never build up enough speed to really exert any force. Luckily, that part is pretty much butter smooth. Then you come into this drop, which gives like a little bit of airtime, maybe, but that's probably the most painful jolt on the ride, but it's still not too bad. You come around this corner, 2 more little bunny hops that don't really do much. And yeah, that's that. I wanted to do one of those just because they're so goofy. And yeah, that is the last one in North America. Honestly, the worst part of that ride was the restraint. I don't even know if it's the worst, just the goofiest. So you kind of saw it. You sit in, you have this ridiculously cushioned padded seat. Like it feels like you're sinking into a beanbag chair. And then they pull down over you like this cage. And luckily the cage is padded, even on the top of the cage. I can only imagine how terrible that ride would be if it didn't have the padding, but like every surface inside the toboggan itself is absolutely cushioned to oblivion. So even the spots that are a little jolty, you're just so cushioned that I didn't find it painful in any way. But it is really awkward to climb in there and have that cage closed around you. And I was tall enough, I actually had to like squat down a bit, or else my head would hit the top of the cage. So it was pretty claustrophobic and a very goofy little toboggan restraint setup thing, but it wasn't that bad in terms of pain. It's just a ride that doesn't really do anything, so. I'm gonna try to do the Mario tilt-a-whirl before I leave. Tilt-a-whirls usually make me a little bit nauseous, so I'm not gonna do that until I'm like ready to go. But I feel like I have to. It's funny. That can't be legal. The sun was coming out while we were on the train, but as you can see, it's starting to get a bit overcast again. So hopefully it doesn't rain. We got about 2.5 hours. I don't know why Siri came on. We got about 2.5 hours
before the park closes, so I was trying to get this while it was running. They have a roller-plane, I think is what they're called. It's an old Eli Aircraft Company ride. Very old, as you can see. You can see it like, I don't know, it goes in a circle there, but then those also roll. And I don't know, it looks pretty awful. Again, another incredibly rare flat ride that has quite the reputation. But I don't know if I will be riding it today because it does look like something that would make me a little sick. And I don't really want to be sick today, I'm gonna be honest. These really old, like, fairground flat rides are just so fascinating to me because you got so much weird stuff like this that you would never see something quite like this manufactured today. A model like this is pretty much completely extinct by now. Just operates at a few small family-owned parks like this that really care about keeping these old attractions alive. And I really appreciate it because even if I'm not going to ride it, it's fun to look at. Didn't even notice this before. They just have this little kind of garden fountain thing. The water's pretty dirty, but otherwise, it's a cool little touch. Anyways, about to get my third credit of the day, third coaster credit of the day on Mad Mouse. This is an Alan Herschel Wild Mouse, which is another incredibly rare, almost extinct ride model. It looks incredibly jank, so I'm very excited. They're running 3 cars on it today and dispatching pretty regularly, even though there's no line. So that's great to see. Something I didn't really notice here until I boarded the ride is that there is no restraint system whatsoever. You literally just kind of sit back in the thing and then just hold on like an old log flume. This place is awesome. The thing about these ancient rides, ancient coasters, like just look at the support structure compared to what you'd see on a ride built today. Like I don't think it's structurally compromised or anything, but obviously there seems to be a much higher factor of safety, if you will, used on modern rides. Look at how thin the construction is there and everything. Just have like cables acting as cross ties. It's a different era of amusement parks for sure. Or like, look at the construction of the roller-plane over here. Like, just how thin that center support column is. The way the pulleys are positioned there. Just ground support, like, obviously it's safe because these have been operating here for a long time without incident, but it's just such a different way of building rides than how we do it today, which is really fascinating. Regardless, I gotta go shamelessly grab the last credit, which is the kiddie coaster back here. Hopefully they don't impose a height restriction on that. Hopefully I'm able to get that. It's another Alan Herschel, I believe. Yep, another extremely old Alan Herschel coaster here. Don't know when this one opened either. I looked on ICDB, it just said it was purchased from a private party in very poor condition. The park spent a lot of money getting it back up to operating condition when they opened it in the 90s. But we don't know how old it is before that. It looks like it's like 40s, 50s, maybe 40s. I'm bad at estimating these things. It's old. That hill in the middle there, if you're sitting in the back of the train, that actually gives like borderline ejector airtime. I don't know why. It's fun. It's kind of cool how they put a handful of kiddie rides in the infield of this coaster. So that's kind of neat. Let's go see if I can get some better views. It's kind of strange we're right next to a cemetery, but don't think about it too much, I guess. Yeah, shockingly enjoyable there. It's kind of Alan Herschel kiddie coasters are always a lot of fun just because they're kind of janky. And that one's even older than the ones I've done at like Carowinds and other places like that. There's a bit more people here now than there was before, but still not too many. Not many at all. It's such a cool little monorail. Just kind of get some views of this park. I hate that this kind of attraction is dying. I keep wanting to call Meteor here Little Dipper because the one at Six Flags Great America is called Little Dipper. But I definitely can't call this Little Dipper because they're kiddie coasters called Little Dipper. So a little bit of nameception going on there. Meteor is so fun. I do think it runs better than the mirrored image one at Great America. I only got to ride that one once, but we'll see when I eventually do that one again. But this one seemed a little smoother and seemed to run a little bit faster for some reason. I don't know if they just grease the wheels more or what's up there. Additionally, they let you go around the circuit twice, or actually on this most recent ride, they let us go around the circuit 3 times. Obviously, that's not a thing at Great America. The park's just too crowded to do that. But it's a nice perk you get here. Anyways, going to the weird back corner of the park because I did get the wristband that includes the go-karts. Since I did pay for it, I need to do the go-karts at least once, you know? Little Amerricka Speedway, as it's called. It's tucked all the way in the very back of the park here. I can't tell if this is a line or what. I don't know what. I guess that's the line. All right. This is the walkway over to the campgrounds, so you can walk to and from the park if you're staying at their campgrounds. It looks like just in time for a train to come through. That's cool. Got a lot of people waving. Makes me happy. Yeah, I just did the go-karts here. It's a pretty simple figure 8 layout, but it's kind of cool. The backside here is shaded with all the trees, and I do like the elevated sections. I don't love go-karts that are just all flat. I definitely prefer having the elevated sections, but some of them are a little bit too much. Actually, some of my favorites are just kind of your bog standard classic go-kart layouts like this one, so it's fun for sure. Unfortunately, they don't seem to have very many actual go-karts. At least today, they don't have very many on. It seems to be a pretty popular attraction here, at least relatively speaking. So I did have to wait about 15 minutes for it, which is the longest I've had to wait for anything here today. Pretty much everything else has been a walk-on, as you kind of expect at a park like this. But then they have like 4 or 5 go-karts, so thank the Lord I got on it when I did, because the line is a lot longer now. Wow. So the elevated portions of track on those go-karts were pretty dang smooth. And the parts actually on the ground, I'm gonna guess the harsh winters have something to do with this, but it was super rough down there. Especially there's a portion when you go under the little tunnel, there's this kind of like seam in the pavement where you literally, if you're going full speed, you literally jump. That's literally the most air time I've ever gotten on go-karts before. It was kind of fun. All right, this parachute ride was actually closed earlier today, but it's back open now, so I'm gonna ride it just out of intrigue. I've never done anything like this before. It kind of takes you up and then slowly drops you back down. Not like a drop tower or anything. All right, got a Zen ride on the paratroopers thing out of intrigue. I've never done anything like that before. That's not too tall, but you do get some nice views of the park from up there. Holds you up there for a second, and then you get there's like a jolt as it starts to lower down, and you get some weightlessness for a second, which is super cool with how open those seats are. You just have like a little bit very loose seat belt across your lap. And ride app's super nice. She let me go twice, so yay. I'm gonna do mini golf now. I know I said that I wasn't gonna do mini golf alone. So like, here's the thing. I'm on the wrong end. The entrance is over there. Here's the thing. I suck ass at mini golf, so I usually avoid even playing with other people because I'm just gonna slow them down. So for that reason, it might actually be more fun if I just do the mini golf by myself. That kind of gets a free practice. At least while I have the gold wristband that includes mini golf. Because if I get a season pass next year, you can only get a blue season pass, which basically means you cannot get mini golf or go-karts on a season pass, so. Second hole, we're already doing the weird sand trap. You're gonna jump over it things. So like, what the hell is that? Like, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but like, what do you even do with it? I was trying to get a cool video of it going around that bent curve there, but I could not get my phone out fast enough. Hey, this one's cut by little train tracks. That's pretty neat. This one's through a tunnel. It kind of smells like Dollywood around here is the only way I can describe it. No joke, I just should have hole in one here. Not to brag, I know I didn't get it on video or anything, obviously, because I was actually doing it. But I hit and it went across. It actually bounced off the back wall and went in, so there we go. I guess I'm good at mini golf now. Okay, wait, what the heck is this? I don't know much about golf, but I'm pretty sure there's 18 holes. I don't know what's up with this 19th we got going on here. Okay, that was just like a ball collector, so we're done. I'm taking the hike back now. Actually, not that far. Cool views of Mad Mouse, though, and of the Mario Tilt-A-Whirl thing. Yeah, luckily the mini golf course is kind of not in the woods, but there's a lot of trees around. It's pretty well shaded, which is pretty nice because yeah, it was, while it was very overcast this morning, about an hour or two ago, the sun really came out. It is beating down now. It's interesting, it's only about 78, 79 degrees, but it's super humid because of the rain this morning, and the sun is just beating down, so it feels like it's like 85, it's like 78. So this building is actually an attraction. I thought it was just like a maintenance building or something. It's listed on the website as a haunted house with the description, "Are you scared of the dark?" So I have no idea what's about to happen here. I'm just gonna film the whole thing. It looks like a walkthrough. Surely there's not actors in here. Surely it's not that kind of thing. So it looks like there's like pressure plates that activate jump scares, but I don't know if there's motion sensors too. Oh gosh. It is very claustrophobic in here. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a wall. Okay. It's like, where do I go? This is high quality content here. Okay. It's like there's another pressure plate right there. Okay, that one didn't do anything. Okay, but there's one here. Is this the exit? Maybe. Possibly. Nope. Yes. No. Up. Oh. That's a tower.
actually an exit. How are we still going? I think I see the lights. Alright, that was something. Alright, the park closes in like 15 minutes, but I gotta do the Mario tilt-a-whirl. It's a very like off, not right looking Mario, which I think is my favorite part of this. Some of it is the color of the paint being off. Some of it's the M. Some of it's just overall, it's just the jankiest Mario I've ever seen. There's no way that was put on there legally. A real amusement park and carnival classic for Tilt-a-Whirl. Epic Universe doesn't have anything like this for Mario. Who needs a highly advanced dark ride and a cool first of its kind coaster when you could have a Tilt-a-Whirl with an awkward Mario stuck in the middle? Universal doesn't know what they're missing out on here. But yeah, something I did not think through beforehand, because Mario turns with the thing, and I was sitting, on the back of Mario, I just saw the back of Mario. Or I should say the Tilt-a-Whirl thing was spinning. So as it was spinning, I was just getting flashed with the occasional back of Mario where I learned he does not have an ass for some reason. And occasionally two of the ride-ops making out by the control panel, which was also happening. I'm not kidding. I had to step farther away to say that so they didn't hear me. But yeah, they were just aggressively making out during the ride cycle. So, flashing back and forth between the back of Mario and that was quite the experience. Probably the most memorable Tilt-a-Whirl I've done now. Yeah, park closes in about 5 minutes, so I'm gonna finish out with a third set of rides on Meteor here. This is definitely my favorite roller coaster in the park, and probably my favorite ride other than the train. I think the train might be my favorite attraction here, but anyways, we'll go for Meteor one more time before park closes. All right, just did the last ride of the night, or I guess you could say last ride of the afternoon on Meteor. It was fun. Ride operator, she was very nice on Meteor. Let us go 4 times in a row then, so that was great. I really enjoyed my time here at Little Amerricka. It's just such a cool concept for a park. The fact that it's not really a retro classic park. It opened in 1991, I think, but the whole concept is preserve the classic American local amusement park as it was in like the 50s and 60s. And to that end, they do it incredibly well. I don't think there's like any modern rides here. The most modern things are like the Scrambler, which is a pretty old kind of carnival ride. It just happens to be something that you still find at most modern amusement parks and theme parks. One of the few weird holdouts from that era. But a lot of the other stuff here is stuff that you just would not see at another regional theme park. A lot of really rare ride models here that this park is keeping alive, and I really appreciate that, and I think it's really cool. Again, it's small, it's kind of a half-day park, but that's why they're only open from 12 to 5 every day. I think that's perfectly fine for a park like this. It helps them minimize their costs in terms of staffing and all that, but then still give people enough time to come experience everything. You definitely could do this entire park, do every attraction in this park in that 5 hours if you were really had it, I don't know if planned out's the right word, but if you were just going from attraction to attraction to attraction fast, then you could definitely do everything in this park in 5 hours, as long as it's not too crowded. But for me, a lot of the enjoyment from visiting a smaller park like this is just being able to take the time, not have to plan out the day, just being able to come into a park like this with no plan whatsoever and just mess around, see what the heck happens. That's the way I like to experience smaller parks like this, and I think it's the best way to experience smaller parks like this. But at least got all the coasters. I got their legendary train ride in, as well as some other miscellaneous attractions around, which were definitely fun to check out. So I will definitely be back here at some point, because again, I love the concept so much. It's about 55 minutes away from me, which is just far enough that it's not somewhere I'm going to just come all the time, because there's just not there's definitely enough here to justify coming like once a year, even from a little farther away. And if you happen to be passing through the area, I definitely recommend making a stop here and visiting. But you know, there's just not enough here for me to justify being here like every month or something like that. But next year I'll probably get a season pass here just because I want to support the park's concept. And I can see myself coming here at least a couple times a year, especially with it being as close to me as it is. Like I said, I'm gonna call it my other home park. So yeah, I'm gonna go get dinner now. I'm probably gonna try to find a Culver's because, you know, Culver's are freaking everywhere here. And since I was at a authentically Wisconsin theme park today, I might as well have a Wisconsin dinner too, you know? Got the good stuff. Heck yeah. I will say it's extremely nice to do a park visit like that, where again, the park's only open from 12 to 5, so I was able to sleep in a bit this morning, get there pretty much right at opening, stay until close, come home, and even after eating dinner, it's not even 7 yet, and I have like the rest of the night, whereas most of the time I go to a park, even like Great America, if I'm there until close, when I get home, it's like 11:30, and it's just time to go to bed, so I like this, it's good. Crack open a beer, play some Donkey Kong Bonanza, because I'm nowhere near done with it yet. Great game, by the way, great game, really fun. If you have a Switch too, definitely recommend it. But yeah, I did decide to grab a shirt here. That's a Wisconsin picture right there. Anyways, they didn't like have a gift shop in the park, but they sold a few like souvenir items like just on a shelf by the dessert stand. So this is the only shirt they had, but I kind of like the design. Got the Little Amerricka logo. Then there's Meteor there, and if you look, at first I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Then I realized what it actually is it's supposed to be like a painterly kind of effect, the way if you've seen like classic, you know, Coney Island ads or something, like the way that amusement park ads were painted back in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, somewhere in that era. So that's pretty cool. That's the only shirt they sold, but I got it. If you appreciate those classic amusement parks the way that I do, be sure to let me know in the comments. I like to read and respond to pretty much all the comments I get. So let me know what your experiences are at your whatever closest small classic family-owned retro kind of theme park like this is, or I guess amusement parks is the better term in this instance. But yeah, let me know about it. Let me know what you like about it. Let me know some stories you have there, etc., etc. They're very different experiences. I like them for different reasons. And so yeah, I'm very happy to live at least decently close now to one of the largest Six Flags parks and one of the best classic retro theme parks I've been to. Amusement park. Amusement park is a better term in this case. I will say Little Amerricka lacks that standout coaster. Of the other, you know, theme parks of that size or amusement parks of that size I've been to have, like even, you know, Beach Bend has Kentucky Rumbler, which is a pretty good GCI. Fun Spot Atlanta, of course, has Air Force One, so that's just not even fair. We're gonna just throw that out. But even someplace like Lake Winnie has Cannonball, their classic PTC Woody. That's actually pretty thrilling and has some pretty good airtime. The standout coaster here is obviously Meteor, which is just a family Woody similar to the Woodstock Express clones and almost the same as Little Dipper at Great America, not too far away. So that's the thing, is it really lacks that standout coaster that makes it really worth traveling to for coaster enthusiasts, that a lot of other parks of this size at least have one, you know, decent wood coaster or something. But regardless, I think the rest of the ride lineup is very great. Again, it has several like really old, really classic attractions that are really hard to find nowadays that they are keeping alive, and that's what I think is so cool about it. And of course, you have that awesome train ride that to me is the standard attraction for that park. So regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of my night. I have a really exciting weekend coming up next weekend. I will have obviously already, you know, done that by the time that you're seeing this video, but to give you a little hint, it involves a Great America theme park, and not the one that's nearby, not that one. So yeah, it's gonna be one of the biggest weekend trips I've ever done in my life. Yes, I said weekend trip. If you know what I'm talking about, you know that's pretty far for a weekend trip, but it should be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. Vlog should hopefully be coming soon once you see this video for that. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to a conversation in the comments below as always, and I hope to catch a ride with you again very soon.